What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Black Sheep Family and Autism. My name is Nicole. If you're new here, and if you're new here, go ahead, hit the subscribe button, hit that notification bell, be down with the gang. So, to tell you a little bit about me, I do a lot of, I guess you could say, clean with me's, day in the lives, vlogs, regular videos, like sit down videos like this, and I talk to you guys about certain topics and stuff like that. Yup. I do those type of videos. It's more like a family channel, and then I sprinkle a little bit of autism in there. So yeah, I kind of try to, as I learn about autism and my family learn about autism, I kind of bring it to my platform and let you guys know. So if there's something you're interested in, make sure you subscribe. So today's video, I honestly forgot what I was gonna do for today's video. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get on to Julian and Jaxon daycare that they used to go to, while we removed Julian and Jaxon from that daycare. So, other than the fact that we moved from cities, but mainly the biggest thing, well, let me do some backstory. So, before I got a vehicle, I didn't have a vehicle, so my son was going way out, somewhere like 45 minutes out to daycare. So, somebody was like, hey, since you're having problems with transportation, like, you know, insurance paid for him to ride the van. So he did have transportation to get there, but I didn't like the time that they was coming to pick him up, because they was coming to pick him up at 5 a.m. when they started their route. Like, it was just too early to have a baby up. And then by the time he got home, it would be like 6 in the evening. So at that time, all we could do was feed him, put him in a bed, and start over the next day. Like, I just didn't like that. So she referred to daycare. She said, I don't know if they're good, I don't know if they're bad, but I do know this is closer to you. I didn't know that we had any close to me. So, called the daycare, told them about what was going on with Juju. Julian got accepted into the daycare. The person, when it came time to the assistant director, when it came time to put him in the daycare, she was all nice, she was friendly, she was asking what happened. I just was telling her about the commute was too long, and basically my child is always sick anyway from this daycare, because to me, the staff are not cleaning how they should be, because I know when you first put your kid in daycare, first put your kid in school, their body have to get used to being around all those germs. So yeah, they typically be sick, but he be sick, and nah, I just didn't have time for that. And she was just like, oh, well, your kid's gonna be sick in any daycare they go to because they don't have no immune system. Red flag number one. I should have listened to that. Red flag number one. For people to think that, oh, well, whatever, your kid's just gonna be sick anyway. As it went on to his enrollment process and stuff like that, I was calling the person because I didn't know who else to call but the person that said that they did this work. I didn't know that she was the assistant director at the time. Mind you, now it was always a problem with me to talk to the actual director or the owner of this facility. So I was calling to see that the doctor signed the paperwork, or did they get the paperwork, because at the time, the doctor's office that we were going to, it was a newer doctor's office. They normally are pretty fast, or they were pretty fast about it. It'd take maybe a week or two to get it or whatever, or the person at the front was like, hey, I'm faxing it right now. So you give it a couple of days, and I was calling to make sure that she got it. You got an attitude, because I'm calling about paperwork to make sure that you even receive the paperwork. Because if you haven't received the paperwork, mind y'all, Carter and Krista both went to these type of daycares. They both needed physical, speech, and occupational. They might not have needed all three, but they needed at least two of them at the time. So I know that my doctor that we have been going to, sometimes if they go through new people, if they don't know what it is, they will just not sign it, and you will have to come make a doctor's appointment, explain to the doctor what it's about or what it's for and stuff like that. So I was trying to make sure she got it. Attitude, I came up there to bring the paperwork to the person, and she had called her up there because I had a question. I don't even remember what the question was, but she said something real stanky to the girl, because the girl was on the phone. She was like, hey, blah, 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 it's here to see you. And she said something, she just was like, face went like that, and then she realized I was looking at her, and she just kind of was like, hung up the phone like, okay. Now at this daycare, the front desk people are the bomb. I'm still not gonna say their name, but the two front desk women are the bomb. They were cool. The nursery was cool. All that. So she like, well, I got DHS calling me, and I'm in a rush, and what do you got, and what do you want, and blah 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 this, blah 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 that. And I looked at her, and I must have looked at her like she was funky, because then she decided that she wanted to sit down and actually talk to me like you had some type of sense. Like, because I don't have to bring my child here. Y'all want the money, not me, at the end of the day. So that happened. She kind of rearranged her life. And, oh yeah, the daycare is called Building Bridge. It was called Lonoke Exceptional something. I'll put it in a title or whatever and down in the description, stuff like that. So that happened. Then as Julian being in the nursery was great. Never had no problems at the nursery. But he didn't stay in the nursery long. He went to the nursery, and then it's when he went to his other class, which I would call class 2. He went to class 2, and by this point, Jaxon was in there. Jackson's whole thing was fine as well, because he was in a nursery. So I noticed that y'all have a problem with putting his jacket on. Like the nursery, if I wanted them to put his jacket on, yeah, that's why we had them North Face jackets, because they like this type of material. They like a sweater material. So even if you're wearing a sweater, you would have something with a hood on it in case it's raining, or to just cover your head because it's cold outside. Duh, right? So you had that happen, and she was like, oh, well, the coat's too big. Because at first we had like a regular coat, because you can't put your kid in a car seat with that coat on. So then we went and we got another coat, smaller coat. Class 2 don't want to wipe Julian's nose. Class 2 don't want to put on his jacket. Class 2 don't want to tie shoes. So at this point, I called to see, well, what is the issue with why your staff can't do their job, because that's part of their job. Like when I talked to the person at the at another location of Building Bridges, because they only had 2 locations in Building Bridges, I'll let y'all use your minds and imaginations to figure out which location it was. I personally would not recommend anybody to send their kid to either one of them. But Building Bridges, which was Lonoke Exceptional Center at first, y'all know what? Let me look that up, because I don't even want to give y'all the wrong thing. Okay, so it's called Lonoke Exceptional Mental Center, or Development Center. Lonoke Exceptional Development Center is what it's called. Now they call it Building Bridges. They do have a part for adults. Of course, Julian Jaxon didn't go to the adults part, so then they changed the name to Building Bridges. But if you put in Lonoke Exceptional Development Center, it will come up. So that was a school that they were going to. Y'all, like, I just never had so many problems with someone mad because I'm like, well, what's the issue with them wiping their face and putting on his jacket? It's cold outside, or if it's raining, putting on his jacket when it's inclement weather or whatever. So mind you now, not Julian, but Jaxon class is the nursery class. They're perfect. They're no problems with. They speak to you. They tell you about your child day. They tell you what your kid's eating. They're like normal, regular staff members, right? So Julian first went over there. It was fine at first, but since I had a problem with why the van aide, which was Julian's teacher, one of his teachers, teacher aide, whoever she was, why couldn't they put on his jacket, or why was it an issue for her to put on his jacket? So I called the school and was like, the van aide is not putting on his jacket, Julian jacket, because Jaxon jacket would be on because the classroom teacher will put on his jacket before they leave. So that just tells me that you're the van aide and you're not putting on the jacket while he's in here, you know? So that was my issue with that. He's not got on his jacket, his face is not clean, and his shoes are always untied. So what are you doing, sis? Like, it's real simple. So, but all in all, they were fine, especially Jaxon. So that happened. It was a whole issue with that. The director, which is very unprofessional, gonna tell me, well, if you have such a problem with how your kids are and blah, blah, blah this, why don't you pull them out, or I'm kick them out, and all this other mushmouth BS. And after she told me that, because I asked, because Julian onesie would never be phasing, because from what I understand, they don't potty train in that class. They don't start potty training until you get to class 3. And these are not actually how the numbers going, but I'm just going to use this 1, 2, 3 because I really don't even remember what class they were in. But we're going to say this is class 3. That's when they start potty training, when they turn 3, basically. Which everybody knows that when your kid turned 2, even with the daycare that Julian Jaxon was going to before they got into where they at now, was trying to potty train Jaxon. Like, they were trying to start their process. And she was like, you know, he's close to 2. Do you want to start it and stuff like that? So they even was started. And the daycare that they at now, we're like, hey, we work with you. We don't just really work with them on it. But if you want to, we can, you know, start him with his whole potty training process. But only when y'all are trying to do it together, basically, to get him in like a routine to do it. So that's cool because they at least let me know. So I'm wondering why, back to the other daycare, which was the one that I moved from, I'm asking like, why is Julian onesie not clipped? Like, are they potty training? So I'm thinking that it's something like they just, since they're potty training, they forgot to fasten his thing up or something. And that I need to start putting him on t-shirts instead of onesies because they're potty training in that class. So she like, oh, well, is he showing signs of potty training? And that didn't have nothing to do with my question. My question was, are they potty training in that class or something? You don't want to answer that question. You want to be like, well, what signs are he showing? Is he showing signs of potty training? Because just because he go sit on the toilet don't mean he's showing signs of potty training and blah, blah, blah this and blah, blah, blah that. And what I would suggest, mind you, I didn't ask the hoe for her suggestions. So I would suggest that you know, at bath time, if you give them baths every night type shit, I stopped talking to the bitch ever since then. That's when I stopped talking to the bitch. And then the family coordinator or whatever was like, oh, well, that would have offended me too. But at the same time, y'all still telling me to talk to this bitch. Like, I'm not gonna talk to this funky ass bitch, like, at all. I don't have shit to say to her because if I'm not giving my kid a bath, I'm not even gonna say to you. So that's how I start talking to her assistant or whatever. And, you know, me and her got cool, but she fake as hell to me too because I don't even understand why you're all on my shit. I don't understand why you're on any of my social medias, but yet you still low-key have a problem with me because you want to be friends or want to be nosy to see what I was going to post on my social media, to then when I remove my boys from that facility, you want to unfriend me now. So you was basically just trying to be nosy. You really don't care about the kids. You just trying to be nosy. So she will wipe Julian and Jaxon nose and stuff like that. And like, to me, that's a bit much because she was their supervisor, which, mind you, now it was only 3 supervisors over the classroom teachers, which did whatever they wanted to do apparently. So it was her, and I would call her and she would come in and have to wipe their noses or wipe Julian's nose because the teachers wouldn't even do it. So when I sit here and you think someone's exaggerating, but when you don't wipe their nose, I sit here and screenshot and take a picture of what his nose looked like because I know this bitch ain't wiped his motherfucking nose. Mind y'all now, she has a issue because I had an issue with her not putting his jacket on. So that lets you know how crazy somebody is. And I was ready to take my kids out of that school then. Jay wanted to keep them in the school and wanted to work with this daycare because he wanted them to be able to be there and stay starred and stay at the daycare. To me, if y'all can't do simple stuff that I know is part of your job title, I don't want my kids going there. And it's just that simple. So it was an issue with wiping Julian's nose and stuff like that. So she would do it. So when I took a picture and showed him, I said, this is how he come every day. It was all white, and, you know, I guess it's one thing to complain, but when you actually have proof that y'all are not doing your job, and I would sit here and go ahead and open up any type of DHS case and call any type of licensing department on you, that's what I'm going to do. So that happened. After that, it wasn't a problem, and I didn't call them because they wanted me to call every day that it was an issue, and I called every day that it was an issue when the issue still was never resolved. And like I told Jay, I'm tired of dealing with them. I'm tired of dealing with this stuff. Obviously, I don't want my kids at this daycare. That's why the assistant director said what she said, because she didn't want to have to deal with it. You want people, to me, that are not black, and that if they are black, you want them to send their kids and be happy that y'all are even taking their kid. No, ma'am, I'm not. I expect you to do your job, ma'am. Go ahead and do your job. How about that? So that happened. Then after that whole incident happened, the week after that, we had a meeting with the family coordinator, who then still told me that I should talk to the director about my issues, for the director not to do nothing. So when I'm gonna talk to somebody that's not doing nothing to her staff for, like, makes sense? Like, I'm gonna sit here and wait. I'm not gonna sit here and argue with nobody that's telling me that I'm not washing my kids. I'm not gonna sit here and talk to somebody that has an issue, and every time somebody have an issue, you want to threaten me with this. And I have already told the director over her that she don't need to call my phone no more, because if I sit here, also there was a situation, because mind you now, I had got quote unquote cool with the kids supervisor, like the supervisor of all the teachers, and I was like, hey, what's wrong with them? Like, they have an issue with wiping noses. Are they slow? Do they need to check too? I left it on her voicemail, not the assistant director, but the supervisor, because me and her had our own little inside jokes. Like, she knew that I don't have a problem with her, but your staff to me are stupid. And she was like, for the life of me, I don't understand why this and why that. Like, she can't be in that class all day to see what they is and is not doing. So she didn't know it until somebody brought it to her. My bad, y'all. Somebody had called. But yeah, I don't sit here and argue with nobody on the phone. I don't like you. You have a problem with me because I'm black. You have a problem with my kids because they're black. So how about you just don't call me? Simple, right? Like, no one's asking you to do anything because you don't do nothing anyway, sis. So that's just common sense to me. So after that happened, with the family counselor and stuff like that, who, like I said, still was telling me to talk to this person that they know that I don't like. I don't talk to female dogs. I don't like female dogs. I just won't have nothing to do with them. So she said that, and I looked at her like she was stupid, and a situation supposed to got fixed. Then on top of that, when Jalen was over there, he was getting the boys off the van, which was no problem for 2 weeks straight. Then it went from Jalen can't get the boys off the van. Like, if we had anything to go do in the city, and we did, he would get them off the van or whatever. Now it's a issue with getting him off the van, and mind you, now y'all did it for 2 weeks straight. So now he has to be 18 and he has to be on a pickup list. Why he have to be 18 in the state of Arkansas? Anybody that's 12 or 13 and over can babysit kids at home. So what you mean he has to be 18? And how do y'all know that this child wasn't even 18? How do y'all even know that he was a child? No one knows that. Didn't nobody ask. Y'all just sat here and assume because y'all want to sit here and harass people. Y'all want to sit here and be racist, and y'all want to sit here and create a problem. So with that being said, it was an issue with Jalen getting the boys off the van. We had to get the boys off the van when Jalen was going to call me because, mind you now, don't nobody know whether me and Jay was married or not. So I would be the custodial parent, right? So why wouldn't you call me? Instead, Jay was like, well, I'll call my daddy type of stuff. She didn't want to get the phone, so she was going to take the boys back to the school and this, that, and third. And I'm the type of person, it would have been a whole motherfucking problem when we had somebody over there because we were never informed of this rule. We were never told about this rule. It just was an issue. And it was okay and it's supposed to be a new rule in place because if parents are going through, with the kids, like custody stuff, custody battles, this, that, and the third, a parent would just take a kid. Well, that still don't even make sense, y'all, because for one, me and Jay is married. And on top of that, if it was such an issue, why would you still listen to Jay saying it's okay for his son to get the boys off the van? Y'all are just picking because y'all are some racist female dogs. Okay. Mind y'all now, throughout all this whole process, I have called the supposedly school director and stuff like that. I can never get a call back. I think I got a call back once or twice, and it's supposed to have been fixed and never got fixed, and it was always an issue. And I just would not recommend Lonoke Exceptional Development Center to nobody, which is now called Building Bridges. So after that happened, Jalen went back home because y'all know that he had moved to Dallas. For him not to even be in Dallas now, he's with his grandparents right now because this is the day before Thanksgiving, but he's supposed to be going to Louisiana. So with that being said, after that happened, like I said, I had been ready to move my kids. These boys have only been here because Jay wanted them here. Jay wanted to work with them. Jay, like, it's not that big and blah, blah, blah this and blah, blah, blah that. Like, my thing is when they're treating my kid messed up, which I feel like if you're not wiping their nose, you have a problem with zipping up their coat, you can't speak to the parent, you don't want to talk to the parent, you got a funky attitude, you don't need to work with kids. You don't need to work with black people at all, sweetheart, because you have a problem with black folks. So after that happened, a bus aide, which mind y'all now, racist is all outdoors. She dropped Jaxon, didn't like she just like Jaxon on the ground, right? Y'all know I have a case going on, so that they can't wait for a situation to happen where back in the day, old me would have beat the shit out of her. The old me would have beat the dog shit out of her. And Jay was standing there. Y'all know Jay is military, so he kind of was like, that just happened. And I looked at him like, what you gonna do? Because you the one wanted them to go to this daycare. I've been not wanting them to go to this daycare. So she dropped him, didn't say sorry, didn't say, is he okay? Any of that. She dropped him and politely went over there to Julian, let him in his car seat, did not speak, didn't say nothing, didn't say 2 words. So you are racist. Like, anytime that you don't even see him put the child down, you just let him off your leg and he fell down these steps, had a knot on his head, and all that other stuff. For us to, and all that happened, the van driver even was like, is he okay? The van driver even looked at her like, what's wrong with her? For me to call them and be like, you're stupid, like I had a few choice words for them and sat here and dropped my son. For them to be like, and mind y'all now, they falsified a report. They sat here and whatever she said she did, she said that the whole report contradicted itself. Like, she said that she put Jaxon down and he tripped over his foot, and she caught him while he was tripping over his foot. Well, how did he fall down the steps if you caught him before he tripped over his foot? And if he tripped over his own feet, why would we be mad at you? Like, why would it even been an issue? So that's what they decided to put in their report. They decided to do that. And the director, she came and talked to Jay, and Jay was like, you know, I was gonna sit here and try to work this out. I feel like she shouldn't be working with kids and this, that, and third. But no, daycares like that will cover up anything. So like I told Jay, I said, anything that happens to these kids, we will never know at this daycare, and that's why I do pop-ups. That's why I pop up at daycares. Right there, because you never know what someone's actually doing to your child. So you need to come periodically through the day, before time, after time, whatever, and at least 2 times a day, and see about your child. Especially if you like me, you can squeeze it into your schedule. Go check your own kids. These folks do not care. They're gonna cover it up so they can keep their licenses. All they're worried about is money. And if they are racist, they really only worried about money. They don't want your money. They don't care about your kid. They don't care about your stuff. Now, with all that happening, we did call DHS. We did call the licensing department and stuff like that. We called all them folks and did all of that. I'm guessing they're still in business. I would never recommend anybody to even send a dog, their goldfish, their gopher, anything to their daycare, especially if you're black or brown. But yeah, but what I will say is the 2 ladies at the front desk are nice. If you do still, don't take my warning, decide that you want to try it out. The nursery is real good. Both of the staff in there are sweet. It's normally 2 to 3 women in there, but I know 2 in there. Sometimes they need extra help if they have more kids. Not classroom right after the nursery, but the next classroom, they were cool. Julian was in there for about a week before we just pulled them after daycare all together completely. Yeah, but that's what happened with the old daycare. That's why they don't go to the old daycare. I had been ready to move my kids because I know that these daycares pop up left and right. And I will say now, I'm gonna do a separate video on the daycare that they're at now, but the daycare that they are at now, you don't have these type of problems at all. Like, these people actually seem like they care, like, in the class. But I'm gonna tell y'all about the whole process of getting them into the daycare and the people that are supposed to have these positions. Yeah, that's a whole nother story. But I'm gonna tell y'all the daycare that they do go to now. I'm gonna tell y'all what I do and don't like about the daycare and stuff like that. So yeah. Also, Julian's speech therapist, which I'm not gonna say her name. I would just say her name start with a T. If you do use that daycare, that speech therapist is the bomb. She actually cares about the students in there, because she texts me like, and that's a daycare where the staff will text you and be like, hey, do you mind? Hey, this and that. How do you want to do this? I got to talk to you about this. And they will text and communicate with you. Like I said, the supervisor, I talked to her on Facebook. 2 of the teachers I talked to on Facebook. And that therapist, we used to text. And like I said, the front desk lady are very sweet. So it's not all bad, but I wouldn't even take my chances, especially if you're a black, brown, have biracial kids. I wouldn't even take my chances there. They told Jay that they're not going to fire the person. They're going to retrain her. I don't know how you train racism. But, okay, y'all are probably the same people that voted for Trump. Anyway, you guys, I'll see you guys on the next video. Be blessed. Peace.